Hey guys, Real 2K Insider here, and today I'm going to be breaking down the biggest movers on the Utah Jazz in the November 3rd roster update, Lauri Markkanen and Walker Kessler. Starting off with Lauri Markkanen, 82 overall, plus 4. He went from a shooter to a 3-level scorer. Markkanen's having a great season, all-star caliber in my opinion. 22 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists in 33 minutes per game. He's been the best player on the Jazz, who are a lot better than people thought that they were going to be. He's shooting 52% from the field, 30 from 3, 85 from the line. Last season, he averaged 15, 6, and 1 in 31 minutes a game, 45% from the field, 36 from 3, 87 from the line. So generally, he's a better shooter than 30% from 3. I expect that to go up during the year. But the big takeaway is his 2-point scoring is much improved, shooting 52% from the field. And, he showed that he might be a better player during Eurobasket over the summer. And with Utah, he's really tapping into the potential that he flashed with the Bulls earlier in his career. Back in 2019, he averaged 19 points per game as a 21-year-old. But ever since then, it's kind of been a little shaky. He's had some injuries and a lot of coaching changes. He had 3 coaches in 4 seasons with the Bulls, and then JB Bickerstaff last season with the Cavs, and now Will Hardy this season. So he's had 5 coaches in 6 years. Not a lot of stability. And obviously, the coaches that he had also weren't the greatest. He had Fred Hoiberg his first year and a half, and then Jim Boylan the year and a half after that. And then by the time Billy Donovan came around, they were kind of moving in a different direction. They traded for Nikola Vucevic, and he ended up taking Markkanen's starting job. They actually used Markkanen as a backup center to Vucevic because you can't really play both those guys together since they're both outside perimeter scorers that don't really impact the game defensively. So in the 2021 season, he averaged 17 points in 30 minutes per game. Pre-All-Star break, all those were starts. Post-All-Star break, averaged only 10 points per game in 22 minutes, 0 starts. So from there, he goes to Cleveland in a sign-and trade. After the Bulls, he was restricted, and the Bulls, if I recall, he was one of the last players to sign in that offseason. I think he signed sometime in August because they couldn't really find a taker for him in free agency. So he signs with Cleveland. A lot of eyebrows get raised because they already have Kevin Love and Evan Mobley. So what do they need another power forward for? So they end up starting him in a jumbo lineup at small forward. A lot of people were skeptical, and it ended up a huge success. The Cavaliers were the surprise team of the NBA last year, and I don't think that Markkanen's contributions got nearly enough credit. I think most of it went to Moby and the emergence of Darius Garland. But Markkanen being able to play small forward without killing them it really helped their defense having that extra length out there. And he was a good shooter. He did his job in the limited role that he had. He had a complimentary role there, career low 19.5 usage percentage. With Utah, he's back to the 25% usage role that he had with the Bulls in his age 21 season. And worth noting that this is now the second year in a row he's been part of a surprise team success. So I think a lot of people slept on him. Let's break down the ratings and see if 2K slept on him. So they gave him, starting off with his driving layup, plus 11, 53% from the field, 58% assisted. He's better than a 68, but I'm not sure if I would have gone this high just yet. He wasn't a great finisher last year, and this isn't really where he gets his bread from at the rim. Post fade and post hook is a plus 4 and a plus 6. Post control is a plus 5. His post game is okay. It's not. He's only getting 1 post possession per 36 minutes, so this is again not really how he's killing guys. He's really been doing a lot off the dribble, face up stuff, etc. So I think he was just fine where he was at, but they wanted to get his rating up, so they're buffing him. Draw foul plus 5. He only takes 4.3 free throw attempts per 36 minutes, which is kind of average-ish. And 87 is obviously not an average rating. If you've watched any of my other videos, I absolutely hate the way that 2K handles this attribute. It is definitely arbitrary and not tied to any sort of production, so there is a lot of inconsistencies here. I believe I have like Markkanen at a 65, something like that attribute. His draw foul rate, or his ability to draw fouls is kind of average. He's obviously not the most physical or athletic type of player. He's really doing things based on finesse and skill. Speaking of which, close shot. This is a plus 10 from an 82, and personally, I maxed this rating out. He's 30 of 53 from the field this year, 57%, and he's assisted on about half of those. So this is really where he's making all his money right now. And he kind of is similar to Dirk Nowitzki in that regard. Dirk wasn't a great finisher at the rim, even during his best seasons. He did most of his damage from the 3 to 15-foot range, and Markkanen is basically the same. No other offensive rating changes besides shot IQ plus 5. This is another arbitrary rating. And it's a little disappointing because they could have actually done a lot more with him. His ball handle, he's getting more shots off the dribble than ever before. I believe it's 1.3 pick and roll possessions per 36 minutes, which is reasonable. I personally have him at a 75 ball handle, so they definitely could have increased his ball handle, but they did not. Instead, he's getting more shots off the dribble than he is post ups, but they raised his post up, but not his ball handle. They should have just left that and then boosted his ball handle 10 points. But that's what happens when you don't do any type of research and you just want to get guys up without doing the work. His offensive rebound rate is also 7.3%, which is a career high. That equates to like a 61, 62 rating, plus 20 from what he has now. So, maybe they could have done a little more research and saw that. That would have been an easy way to boost his rating a point. And ditto for his defensive rebound. Last season, 16.5% defensive rebound rate. Again, he was playing the 3 this year. 22.5 defensive rebound rate. That equates to like an 80, 81-ish rating. So another attribute where they could have boosted him 10 points. And I guess actually heading back, there's another attribute they could have boosted, his pass vision. He's dishing 12 points. His assist rate is 12.6%. He doubled his assist rate from last year. Again, he's creating more off the dribble, so it makes sense that he would be doing a lot more playmaking. So 12.6 assist percent, that equates to like a 55, 56-ish pass vision rating. Another attribute they could have boosted by 20 points, but they did not. So even though they boosted his rating 4 points, it looks like they were kind of sloppy with it. They did boost his perimeter defense rating by 16 points. That's a lot, and going back to what he did with the Cavs, they played him at the small forward, and he wasn't getting killed defensively. So, he was not a lockdown guy, but he was passable. So, 65, totally reasonable. No athleticism ratings ever change because this company sucks. The 42 speed with ball is pretty laughable given that he is now, again, creating shots off the dribble. So really all of these could go up like 5 points, and then speed with ball should just be closer to his speed, period. His hustle rating is probably a little low, stamina low, strength low. It is what it is. They're going to update that 3 years from now, probably. Mental, he had 3 upgrades here. His pass perception is a plus 10. Which again goes back into his, it was low, I guess. His defensive consistency went up 15 points, and his offensive consistency also went up 15 points. This season, he's got a 3.5 offensive box plus minus. Last year, that was a 0.4, which I would grade as like a 75. For his career, 0.9 plus minus. So I would generally, that would be like either 75 or 80 for me. 3.5, definitely worthy of a 95. He's been one of the offensive leaders of the team, so this is a totally reasonable upgrade. And his defense, negative 0.5 defensive BPM this year. Last year was a 0.1 for his career. It's a negative 0.9. So 60 is basically what I would have had his career rate at. He was underrated to begin with, obviously. Again, he was part of a good defensive team last year, and it seems like the Utah Jazz are also good defensively this year. So, makes sense to bring up his consistency rating. So they did not improve his. They didn't give him any badges or anything, which is pretty disappointing because again, he's averaging 22 points per game and he's only got 3 badges. So we're gonna jump into my roster, which is on the PS5. That's my gamer tag. If you would like to download it and check out what I've got, I am going through and updating badges as I do all these. So I've got Markkanen with 13 badges. I gave him a couple post badges. 2K boosted his post ratings, but they didn't bother to give him any post badges, so that is definitely something they could have done. And added a bunch of shooting badges for him. Catch and shoot is a silver. That's kind of a big duh. Limitless range. He's 11 of 22 from 30 feet last season, 14 for 29 for his career. So his percentage on deep threes is great, and he takes them at a pretty reasonable volume. So yeah, silver I think pretty reasonable. And then blinders, Deadeye, Green Machine. These are all he's a scorer. He's taken a lot, not a lot, but he takes contested shots. So bronze, totally reasonable for those. And ditto slippery off ball, especially with Cleveland last year. He was coming off screens a bit. This is something that's in his bag, not something he's elite at or anything. And volume shooter bronze. Again, he's now back to being the focal point of his team's offense. Last year, I wouldn't have had this on him, but this year, totally reasonable for him to have at least a bronze. And then finally, box out beast, as mentioned, his defensive rebound rate is through the roof. I believe it's a career high. So yeah, give him bronze box out beast. Let's hop back into the 2K roster, and we're going to focus on Walker Kessler now. And before I address his ratings, I just wanted to also showcase something else that changed besides his ratings. How do I find it? Quick edit. The play initiator. About a month ago, I made a tweet that more or less torched the roster editors for this game because they added Walker Kessler to the game with play initiator activated. He is a defensive shot blocking specialist, not a playmaker. Like that, it was insane to me. And I went through and found all the players that it was completely erroneous on. And 2K would never update this play initiator. Matisse Thybulle, from the moment he entered the league, had play initiator. He's been in the NBA for 4 seasons. So what's 365 days in a year? We're talking over 1,000 days that this man had play initiator as a 3-and-D specialist. So when I saw Walker Kessler get that, I went like I went nuclear, and I said I made a nasty tweet, and lo and behold, a month later, or whenever whenever they changed it, they actually changed it, and they changed Matisse Thybulle and all the other players who had the incorrect play initiator and stuff for the last 4 years or however long it's been. So I wish it didn't have to be like this, because this is not the first time that this issue has been brought to 2K's attention. I know for a fact that Pete Toll submits this information to the roster editor of 2K Sports annually, and they never address it. And all it took was me being an asshole on the internet to, I guess, with my tweet got seen by a couple extra people. I'm sure somebody must have said something, because lo and behold, everything got changed. And I just wish that I didn't have to be an asshole in order to get to get things actually changed. Like if if you ask nicely, it just kind of falls on deaf ears. But anytime you make a big stink and embarrass these clowns, it seems like they actually listen, and that shouldn't really be the case. You don't want to encourage bad behavior. Just be better at listening. Is really how I feel. Don't let things get to a point. All right. Now that tangent's over, that was going to go on for 4 years or something, right? Walker Kessler was the number 22nd overall pick in the draft this past year, averaging 5 points per game, 4 rebounds, 1.4 blocks in 14 minutes a game. He's 14 of 21 from the field. We're going to talk about that in a second. So shooting 67% from the field in a very small sample. Driving layup, he's 8 for 12 on layups this year. Put a pin in that. Half of his shots are layups, 12 out of 21. So just put a pin in that. No change for his layup rating. He had a +3 for his post hook and post control. So this was kind of interesting because he has yet to attempt a hook shot this year. And he's taken one post up in 98 minutes. That is 0.4 per 36 minutes. So he was overrated to begin with, and they're raising him. Again, they didn't look at any data for Markkanen, and now they clearly didn't look at any data for Walker Kessler. They're just focused on getting his overall rating up. That's all they care about. I would be lowering his post control. He's not a scorer. He's a defensive guy. Moving along, no edit to his draw foul rating, but 44, that's low. If you recall, Markkanen, 4.3 free throw attempts per 36, and he was an 87. Well, Walker Kessler, 5.5 free throw attempts per 36. And he's all the way down here at a 44. He doesn't take a lot of shots, but he gets fouled on the ones that he does take. So, this is why I hate the way that 2K does this rating. It's just not consistent at all. And then close shot, this is a +11. And he's 2 for 4 from the field, from close range. 4 shots. This is what we're basing a +11 on, 4 shots. And again, note that he took 12 shots, and there was no change to his driving layup. He was 8 for 12, 67%. Here he was 2 for 4. Oh my God, +11. I just want them to be consistent. That's all. Mid-range and 3, no changes to these. He's taken 1 shot outside of 10 feet, so you definitely could be dropping these. He was taking 3s in college. I don't think that's going to be the case in the pros. And mid-range, he's not a mid-range shooter. You could safely... I've got both of these ratings at 50. You could definitely drop those, especially if you're going to be raising his close shot by 11 points or whatever to make him a post scorer. Offensive rebound, this is a +17. Oh, also worth noting, his archetype changed from paint protector to glass cleaner, so it stands to reason that his rebound ratings went up. 15.4 offensive rebound rate, or 15.4 offensive rebound percentage, I guess I should say, which would be among the league leaders if he qualified in minutes played. This is generally like a high 90s rebound rate. Given his small sample of minutes, I'm totally okay with him being an 83. Obviously, it needed to be higher than, what was that, 66 previously? So, yeah, step in the right direction. Keep an eye on it. It might continue to go up. And then no other changes for offense. Defense, he got a +5 in defensive rebound rate. It's only 17.5 defensive rebound percentage, which is actually on the scale for 69. So maybe he had a bad game or something after press time or something to bring that down a little bit. But I would have left him at 69 here and then boosted his offensive rebound rate by 5 more points and called that a day. No upgrade to his block rate, even though he's one of the best shot blockers in the league. 8.4 block percentage. This is basically what he was drafted for. He is blocking shots at like a 90s rate, and honestly, like, they should just max him out, really, because this is what he's going to do for his entire career, is block shots at an elite rate. No upgrades to his athleticism ratings as per usual. I don't remember how fast he was when I watched tape on him, but there's very few players in the league who are this slow. His strength rating's probably a little low too. Moving along to his mental. This one infuriated me. He's a plus 15 in offensive consistency, and he had no change to his defensive consistency. So they think he's an offensive player. They boosted his post ratings and his close shot, and they seem to he's averaging 5 points, and they think that he's an offensive player. And then for defense, this is his actual calling card. Offensive box plus minus negative 0.4. I would grade that as a 65, which is what he was at to begin with. And then defensive consistency, 1.9. I would grade that as like an 85 to 90. So him being a 55, way too low. Like, if you recall, Lauri Markkanen just got a bump up to a 60. Is there anybody out there who really thinks that Lauri Markkanen's a better defensive player than Walker Kessler? I guess at 2K Sports they do. And then intangibles, this is a plus 30. This is just to get his overall rating up. I'm not sure why they want to get him up as high as Malik Beasley and Kelly Olynyk, because Kelly Olynyk definitely plays more and is a much more impactful player for their team. He's a backup center. So intangibles, if you're not aware, is just it's just an attribute that inflates or deflates the overall rating. Sometimes the 2K formula doesn't grade these guys particularly well. So he went up, what was it, 30? So 55. You can see his overall rating just drops 2 points. I think a 74 is probably more appropriate for Kessler. Rudy Gay, Taylor Horton Tucker in that range. But yeah, he shouldn't have the same rating as Kelly Olynyk, given that he's only playing 14 minutes a game. And so he was a 71 overall to start. He was clearly better than that. Plus 3 would have been totally fine. Plus 5, a little exorbitant, given that he hasn't had like that crazy of an impact. Not nearly like Benedict Mathurin is a plus 5, Paulo Banchero is a plus 5, Bol Bol is a plus 5. Like, those guys are playing much better than anticipated, or at least much better than what they were rated as. Walker Kessler, not so much. But anywho, that's the Utah Jazz big movers. If you like this content, hit that like button and subscribe if you don't want to miss any more rating breakdowns. I'm going to be doing them all season long. You can get season-long access to my roster spreadsheet, which lists all my badge changes, etc. It's one of the most detailed documents, if not the most detailed 2K document out there. It's only $20. You can DM me on Twitter at Real2K Insider for instructions on how to get access to that. And otherwise, yeah, I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.